Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's your favorite doctor, Dr. Faith Abraham, and welcome back to our channel, the place where you get your mind right, your money right, and your spirit right. And I have to repent. I apologize. Um, I'm actually supposed to be coming on every Thursday. And I think what's been happening is that I don't know what's been happening. Like, I literally don't even realize the time until afterwards because I had set myself for 7 p.m. Thursdays, but I'm not making it. And so I'm really not even repenting to you. I'm repenting to God because that's what I said that I was committing myself to. And I have not been making good on that commitment, but I'm going to. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it Thursdays because that's actually um, what I saw, what I was told, and do it in the morning. Have it scheduled on my calendar so that time is blocked out. So even if I have clients that want to come, and this is the holiday season, so during the holidays, it gets pretty busy for me, but this is my commitment and this is what I've committed myself to do. So that is what I'm going to do. So I won't be able to take um, anything until after our time together. So it's going to be great. It's going to be good. And by the grace of God, I'm going to be able to commit and stay consistent because that's what it's all about. And I'll make sure to create like a little flyer and put it in the community so that you can set your timer, set your alarm so you don't miss it. And I, you would say, oh, well, maybe you just need to set an alarm. Yeah, I did that. And then the alarm is set for 6:30 so I could come on, so I could prepare and then be on live at 7. The thing came in at midnight. So might be a little bit of resistance there, but that's okay. We fight through. Then the second thing I want to tell you before we get started is 2025 is our year to flourish. And in Women's Success Circle, that is my mentorship and community, we have a special Christmas special going on where you can be a part of the community for the entire year of 2025 for only $49 per month, or save a boatload and sign up for the annual plan. We have it marked down to $350, okay, or $347, $350. So you'll have the annual plan, and we will ship to you your own Flourish hoodie. They're so soft and comfy, and this is a medium, and I usually wear a small, so you'll get that in the mail, as well as, of course, access to the community. The networking is fantastic. We meet up bi-monthly, so the first Tuesday of the month, the third Tuesday of the month in the community. And we talk about basically FIMPS, which is my acronym for life. And God gave this to me really early on. I'm going to say, when did I graduated? 2002, 2003. I'm going to say 2003, 2004. And it's FIMPS, right? And most people can't remember it, so I just put it into an acronym. But that is your financial, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. Financial, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. Financial, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. FIMPS. You have these 5 things. Y'all make sure, y'all let me know in the chat if y'all can hear and see it's saying that it needs to reconnect. Okay? But if you build up those 5 elements of your life, FIMPS, you build up those 5 elements of your life, you will enjoy life. You will see life cater to you. You will actually say, okay, I lived a good life. I lived a great life, and it worked out for me. Okay, FIMPS. So that's what we talk about in Women's Success Circle. So every quarter of the year, there's 4 quarters of the year, we talk about different topics. So we talk about your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, of course, your financial, and especially financial, because ladies, I don't know if you know, but we live longer than men. And if you're going to live longer, then that means you need more money. You need more finances. FIMPS. right? And so if your finances are, you leave it up to chance, oh, I'm just gonna by the grace of God or the wing and a prayer, you keep pulling that stunt with yourself. You keep lying and deceiving yourself, and you think that that's how it's gonna work. Even God don't abide by that. Okay, let's be clear. People always talk about Ruth and Boaz, but let me tell you something. Ruth was working. She was a widow, but she was working. She was serving her mother-in-law, even though her husband had died. Boaz found her putting her hand to work. Yeah? Proverbs 31 woman. She was not lax and daisical. Oh, I got my kids. Oh, I'm married. I'm just going to leave it all up to chance. No, ma'am. No, sir. She was a pillar in the community. She was working. Yeah. I know I get a little feisty with you, but I have to, because if I don't, you're going to sit there and make all these excuses as to why your finances are a wreck. And I'm telling you right now, God is not concerned about that, because he already said in his word, be good steward of what I have given to you. Your gift will make room for you. Okay? Well, hey, welcome. Glad you're here on the broadcast. Share it with somebody who you feel like is going to need this and is going to benefit from this. Thanks for being here and leaving a comment, right? Like, let's stop playing games. Let's stop acting like we don't know any better. I know what it's like to not have any money. I know what it's like to be struggling. I know what it's like to have more debt than income. I do. It's not because, oh, now people see, oh, I'm driving a Rolls Royce. I live in a nice house. I got my kids. I'm married, that I'm so special. No. Do you know the effort I put in to make that work? Do you know the faith I had to exercise to make that work? Do you know the reprogramming of my mind that I had to do for that to make itself manifest in my life? So the things that I've learned in the journey, this is what I give in Women's Success Circle. I'm going to start posting the testimonials and the stuff that people are saying about the community, so y'all know it's for real. It's one thing if I say it, it's another thing if somebody else says it, right? So don't worry, I'm coming. But don't ever say I never tried to help you. Don't ever say that I've never kept it 100% kosher with you, because I have, I do, and I will forever. That is who I am. I am the oldest of my family. I didn't have a big brother. I didn't have a big sister. So I had to go out and figure out how this thing works, come back home and tell my siblings, this is how it goes. This is how this goes. This is how that goes, so on and so forth, right? And they would take if they took it, great. If they didn't, great. But when they would take it, they would get results. That's all I've been doing my whole life. I ain't going to stop now. It's what's been working for me, so I ain't going to stop now. All right? So www.womensuccesscircle.com for the community mentorship. Like I said, we meet up twice a month. You get access to all the resources. We have a great community where ambitious, driven, successful women, we get in there, we encourage each other, we motivate each other, and we keep each other accountable. Because without accountability, you will fall off the map. It's just what it is. Humans are wired for relationship. We're wired for community. So with that, I had posted something on Facebook yesterday, and I thought it was interesting. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna find my let me get my phone, and I'm gonna tell you what I posted, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. Okay, so I had posted it, and I thought it was interesting that it got a bit of a response. I wasn't planning on it. I was just posting based on what was dropping into me. And what I said was a sneaky thing. So I did like a couple of posts, a thread, so to speak, on Facebook yesterday. And one of the things I was talking about entrepreneurship. And one of the things I said was a sneaky thing you should do as an entrepreneur is heal. A sneaky thing that you should do as an entrepreneur is heal. Much of your trauma and unresolved issues show up. And interfere with what you are meant to accomplish. That's what I wrote on Facebook yesterday. And, people were in the comments like, oh my gosh, that's so good. Oh my gosh, I never thought about that. But this is the thing is, what happens is people run to entrepreneurship because entrepreneurship is supposed to help them make money. Entrepreneurship is going to help them make money. With that money, they can now buy things. They can drive fancy cars. They can boast and brag about, oh, I made this much money. I made that much money. I have this type of client. I have celebrity clients. I have won this award. I've been featured in this magazine. I've been on this meeting. And it does something for the ego. It does something to boost people up. It does something for the self-esteem. It does something to say, oh, I don't clock into a job. I got my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. I set my own hours. I had this, that, and the third. And so people get really excited. They get really built up because they're looking to own their own, have their own. Oh, I'm not building up no other man's dream. I'm building up my own dream. This, that, the other. And the truth is, it's a really honorable thing to have a business and to serve people in that capacity. As an entrepreneur, I look at entrepreneurship as an opportunity to serve. It's an opportunity to give. It's an opportunity to give to the world that which God has given and entrusted to me, and then I now package it in a way that will now be beneficial to both me and my client who buys from me. That's a win-win situation. Like, that is, it's like, oh my gosh, and then everything else is just bonus. The awards, the fanfare, the fame, the notoriety, all that stuff is extra. But what happens is when you go into entrepreneurship, and you're going into entrepreneurship, and most people don't realize this, they're going into entrepreneurship to fill a void. They're looking for entrepreneurship to do something for them that entrepreneurship is not actually meant to do. As an entrepreneur, one of the things that you absolutely have to do is work on healing. Even as you're growing your business and you're scaling your business, every level in your business, every level that in your entrepreneurship journey, you're going to need to heal. It's going to require a different version of you. It's going to require you to show up in a way that you've never shown up before. It's going to require you to level up in your spirit, in your mental, in your emotional. A lot of times people get caught up in the fanfare, not realizing that if you're going to succeed, not even just as an entrepreneur, but just as a human being, you're going to have to heal from the things that have hit you, that have oppressed you, that have suppressed you, that have rearranged and reconfigured your brain from who God has intended you and meant you to be versus who you're actually showing up to be right now. A lot of things that people feel, a lot of personality traits, and a lot of ways that people operate in life, they think and they feel like, oh, this is just who I am. This is how I've been. But what if I told you that some of the way that you behave, some of the behaviors, some of your personality that you think that you have are actually not your personality, but actually things that you are, they're your pacifiers. They're actually your ways of moving through life. They're actually the ways that you have self-preservation activities, self-preservation characteristics. You're actually preserving yourself. It's not your personality. You're just preserving yourself. You're making sure you don't have somebody abandon you. You're making sure you don't have somebody reject you. You're making sure that you're being able to, you're trying to make money. You're trying to move and navigate through life with these things that you have picked up as a way to preserve yourself, when in actuality it worked for a time, but it's not going to work forever. It's not meant to work for forever. It was meant to work for you to, in that moment, for you to get from where you were to where you're supposed to be, where you found yourself to where you're meant to be, so that you can complete the assignment and move to the next assignment within your purpose. But now you have done it for so long, you feel like that's your personality. That's just who you are. That's just how you're wired. No, that's not how you're wired. That's how your brain has adapted to the trauma that you were exposed to and you experienced. And now you have taken it on as if it's you. It's not you. It's just what you have done so that you can make it, so that you can survive. And so you literally have to tell, I don't know who this is for, but you literally have to tell yourself, you know what? Once you begin to realize that this is a wound, this is self-preservation, this is something that I've been doing, a way I've been acting that has helped me to survive the trauma, the bad experiences, to navigate those things that have overwhelmed my nervous system. But now I'm going to a higher level. Thank you for getting me to this point, but now a new version of me must arise. It's a decision. You have to make a decision in which you now say, enough is enough. I will be the CEO I'm meant to be. I will exude and step into the gifts that have been bestowed upon me, have been entrusted in me by God, and use those gifts to make room for me, to make things happen, to touch other people, to serve other people, to do what in the world I'm purposed to do in this life. The word says, and Apostle Paul said this, for me to live is Christ, for me to die is gain. I benefit more from leaving this earth than being on this earth. If you're thinking selfishly, if you're just thinking within yourself, right? But if you're going to live, then you might as well live for the cause of Christ. And if you're going to live for the cause of Christ, then that means you have to put aside those things that so easily beset you, those things that so easily distract you, those things that so easily remove you from the plans and the the purposes, and the perfect will of God. I got tongue-tied there, right? Okay. You have to recognize that there's aspects of you that are not actually you. Be willing to ask Holy Spirit, I'm doing this and people tell me about this. Is this really a problem? Is this something that I need to actually work on? Like, I have clients that come into my office and they are, look, okay, so I had, like, let's say I had somebody who came in, and he came in because his wife was complaining about how he operates in business. Part of the problem is that he doesn't have boundaries. Why doesn't he have boundaries? He doesn't have boundaries because of the things that happened to him when he was younger. He didn't have his dad around. He didn't have a good relationship with his mom. He didn't have a good relationship with his grandmama. It wasn't until he got a little bit older, but he was already like a teenager, and he was able to work, where he was now able to start fending for himself and not needing anybody. But here was the thing. The wife is the one that acknowledged and said, look at this behavior. Look at what you're doing. You're going to put yourself in a situation where it's harmful. So the way she did it was, they came in because of a marital issue, but really what was going on was there was a soul issue within the husband that was flowing over into the marriage and affecting their ability to relate with one another. He didn't have boundaries. He lacked boundaries. Why? Because his objective, and he didn't realize this, but his objective was to preserve, to keep everyone in his life that showed up, because he didn't want to be rejected. He didn't want to be abandoned. He didn't want to have this almost like rotating door of people coming in and out of his life. He didn't like it. And so unconsciously, what he was doing was people would come to him for his business, but he would do everything possible for them to stay, for them to remain, for them to be there, which was now causing an issue in the marriage. But then, of course, also in the business, you can't do business like that. There's some that you will bring close to you, and then there's others that you will leave. They'll be on the outer courts. You only have enough space in the inner courts. I'm going to have to do a teaching on that and just show you what it looks like, right? Where you have the holies of holies, you have the inner courts, then you have the outer courts. We saw this with Jesus when Jesus had the 12 disciples. Then you had the other people who would come regularly to listen to the teachings. Then you had the outer courts where it was just everybody. You can't take everybody that's on the outer courts and bring them into the holies of holies. You will destroy yourself. You will destroy your business. You will destroy your family. You will destroy everything that is precious to you. Even the blessings that God has given to you, you will begin to despise them. You will begin to cast them aside. You will begin to not value them the way that you're supposed to, because you're too overly stretched. You following me? And I know people won't talk about this. I know people are like, "Oh, this is so far-fetched," or it's not far-fetched. It's just stuff that people won't, they see it happening, but there's no context to it. There's no language to it. I don't have my glasses on. Hey there, welcome to the broadcast. Hey y'all, I'm going, but please feel free to leave comments as I'm just sharing with you, because this is a really important conversation that needs to be had, and people need to have some type of language and understanding to what's actually going on. You cannot, there's no way that you're going to be able to sustain yourself as an individual and as an entrepreneur if you are operating from these places. And it's usually unconscious. You're doing this on an unconscious level because of the programming in your subconscious. Okay? This is what is going on. Your subconscious is running on a program, is running on an understanding that is pre-written out based on the trauma. And because entrepreneurship requires you to show up and be the best version of you, now the trauma and the unresolved issues, the soul issues, start coming up too. And so you're like, I'm just trying to do business. I'm just trying to make money. I'm just trying to serve my people. But in actuality, what's happening is you're operating off of the subconscious programming that's in your mind. How come people hustle so hard, and they're doing so well and they're driving all the nice cars, and they got all the designer, and they're doing all this stuff, and they look so good, and all the listen, Linda, listen. You got to understand that sometimes just because you see a season of somebody's life doesn't mean that's the entirety of their life. And that's why you can't compare yourself. When you comparing ourselves with one another, we are unwise. It's wrong. It's not advantageous. You got people out here, no, but for real, right? You got people out here who are literally looking cute and flashy on the front end, but on the back, once you get access to the back and know what's really going on in the business, it's messy. It's disgusting. It's not what it looks like. It's shiny on the outside and the front in the beginning. But then when you get access to the back and you see what's really happening in the back, it's nasty. It is not clean. It is not pure. Let me show you something, because this is also Bible study. And y'all tell me something too, because I'm trying to figure out what we're going to call this, because we're going to be coming on every Thursday. I was playing with different names. So I was thinking Thirsty Thursday. I like Thirsty Thursday, like thirsting for the word, thirsty for to get in the word, like, Thirsty Thursdays. I like it. But then I was like, oh, what about Thriving Thursdays? Y'all let me know in the comments. Or if you have something other than what I'm saying, tell me, because I would love to know. I would absolutely love to know. Okay, let me show you something. I love this scripture, and I'm going to the book of Psalms. I'm in the book of Psalms 73, and I want to show you what you're seeing from a lot of these people, and you feel like they're doing well. And I'm not saying everybody, but there are enough people who look like they're successes on the outside, but they are crying, they are hurting, they are suffering on the inside. A lot of entrepreneurs that I know and that I also see and I observe, they're operating from a place of yes, they have ambition, they have drive, they want to be a success. But what is actually driving that is their need to fill a hole, their need to not be seen, as far as their brokenness not be seen. And so now you're over here, and yes, you got stuff that you need to heal. Yes, there's stuff that you need to do. But what you're doing is you're comparing yourself with somebody else. You're not being wise. The Bible says when we compare ourselves with ourselves, you're not being wise. And when you compare yourself, that's the thief of joy. You're literally letting go of your joy when you compare yourself. Let's look at the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms says, this is for my pure-hearted people. You're doing things right. You're going slow. You're taking your time. You're healing. You're growing and you're developing. You're learning how to delegate. You're learning how to flow in your area of genius, and then find people who have a different area of genius than what you have, so that y'all can create something and serve people on a very high capacity. Look at this. Psalm 73 says, surely God is good to Israel, to those who are pure in heart. But for me, my feet had almost slipped. I had nearly lost my foothold, for I envied the arrogant. I envied the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. This is part of the healing. This is part of what I'm talking about. A lot of people that you see, they look shiny, they look big, and they are. They're doing good or what have you. But some of them, when you look in the back, when you look on the inside, you realize it's not as shiny as you think it is. All that glitter, that's what old folks say, all that glitters ain't gold. All that glitters ain't gold, baby. You got to know. Everything that glitters ain't gold, baby. You just take your time. You just walk your walk. That's what old folks will always tell you and say to you, right? 2, you have people who are operating from a hurt place, and that hurt place gives them a lot more, I would say, energy. It gives them a lot more determination, because they're really, really focused on covering themselves and not being seen fully, and I want you to see me, but I don't want you to see me. I don't want you to see what's actually happening within me in the background, right? You got people like that. And then, of course, you do have people who it's their time, it's their season to win, right? But if you are comparing yourself, which is another sign that there's some healing work that you need to do. Because if you're constantly comparing yourself, how are you comparing yourself to somebody who's in a different car, in a different lane, that has a different metron, that has a different understanding, that has a different calling on your life than somebody else does? Who does that? If you're so focused on what God has given to you and the vision that has been bestowed upon you, why are you looking at somebody else's vision? Why are you allowing your joy to leave you because you're too worried about what's happening in a different lane that's not your lane? That means that your self-esteem is low. That means that you're looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces. You're distracted easily because you're not convinced, you're not set up and solid in what God has given to you. So when you see somebody else walking in what they got going on and what God has given to them, you now shrink and you now say, oh, well, let me do what they're doing because it's working for them. No, keep doing what you're doing because that's what God wants you to do. If it's their time and it's their season, let them thrive. You celebrate while you keep working. Okay, now look at this. This Psalm 73 depicts it very, very well. But as for me, my feet had, is verse 2. My feet had almost slipped. I had nearly lost my foothold, for I envied the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. They have no struggles. Their bodies are healthy and strong. They are free from common human burdens. They are not plagued by human ills. Therefore, their pride is their necklace. They clothe themselves with violence. From their callous hearts comes iniquity, and their evil imaginations have no limits. They scoff and they speak with malice. With arrogance, they threaten opposition. Their mouths lay claim to heaven. Their tongues take possession of the earth. Therefore, their people turn to them and drink up waters in abundance. They say, how would God know? How does the Most High know anything? This is what the wicked are like. They're always carefree. They go on amassing wealth. Surely, in vain, I have kept my heart pure. So now you as the pure-hearted, and you as the pure-hearted are looking at others who are not healed, are operating from a arrogant, prideful place, from a place that lacks integrity, lacks character, lacks any type of, what would I want to say, heavenly accountability. You're comparing yourself to such people and saying that your pure-heartedness and you walking, doing this thing God's way, the good way, the right way, you're looking to have good success, like it says in Joshua 1:8, is for nothing. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's wrong. That's incorrect. You're looking at the short picture. You're looking at your bank account. You're looking through the lens and the perspective of what has happened to you versus where God is taking you, where God is increasing you, where you're meant to be, not where your trauma has you to be. Not in the self-preservation mechanisms that you're using and calling them your personality. Let's keep going. And matter of fact, I'm going to skip a little bit because you can read it a little later. Psalm 73:21, when my heart was grieved and my spirit embittered, I was senseless and ignorant. I was a brute beast before you. So now, because this person is so busy comparing themselves to people who aren't even acknowledging God, they are changed. They are different. Their heart has now changed. Right? They're now acting different because they feel like God don't care and God is not paying attention. When in fact, 23, yet, this is like the reality check. I am always with you. You hold me by my right hand. You guide me with your counsel. And afterward, you will take me into glory. Whom have I in heaven but you? The earth has nothing I desire besides you. Let me go over to 27. Those who are far from you will perish. You will destroy all who are unfaithful to you. But as for me, it is good to be near God. I have made the sovereign Lord my refuge, and I will tell of all your deeds. So 73, I love Psalm 73 because it's so real. It's so real. Like anybody that will sit there and read Psalm 73 and say, I ain't never acted like that. That ain't never happened to me. Lie. Not lie. You know the hill word, lie. Because everybody has done this. Anybody, even if you love God with your whole heart, everybody has gotten to the place where you feel like God is not paying attention to you, where your trauma is speaking more for you than the results, where taste and see that the Lord is good is not happening for you. Everybody has experienced that. Everybody has gone through those seasons in their lives. But I'm here to tell you that those seasons will decrease as you increase your work, as you increase your healing. Because as your soul prospers, that you will prosper even as your soul prospers. Your soul has to prosper in order for you to prosper. How does your soul prosper? When your soul is getting the healing that it deserves and that it needs from the things that you have gone through, from the things that have ailed you, from the pain that has been your life. That you will prosper even as your soul prospers. Your soul ought to prosper if you want your life to prosper. That's why I'm very weary of, I saw something on the other day. I was doing some work. So basically I was looking up some different quotes and different things like that on Pinterest. And somebody said, your soul will know when the people, how did it say it? It's that your soul knows the people who are meant for you because they treat you differently, they love on you differently, they show up for you differently, like that. And I read that and I was like, and immediately a rebuke. But what if your soul is unhealed? What if your soul is in need of mending? So the type of people who are actually coming into your life are the people who are perpetuating the trauma and the pain and the hurt. They're not tending to you or speaking to you or putting pressure on you for you to rise up and to come up. They're not. They're good with you being in your messy state. How'd that work? They're good with you being in your messy state because you're out here serving your soul that has been unhealed, that is not reproved, that has not had any type of refiner's fire, that has not, like, you've never even laid the mask down. But yet you're looking for people who will speak to your soul. Your soul will deceive you. The heart is exceedingly wicked. Your soul will deceive you, especially if it is not submitted to God. So if you're going to have success in business, you are going to have to do your healing work. You are going to have to prosper in your soul, and you have to give your soul the things that will make it come alive. How do you make your soul come alive? You get around the right people. You get around the type of people who won't put up with your nonsense, who will sit there and call you out on your stuff, who will sit there and say, yeah, I understand that that's how you are, but this is how you're actually meant to be. I see your future. I see where you're going. I see your greatness, and I don't want to speak to your soul because it makes you feel good. I'm going to speak to your spirit man so your spirit man can rise up and you can be everything that you are meant to and born to become. Yeah, I'm going to be the adversary, so to speak. I'll play the villain role in your life so that you can become the hero that you're supposed to be. Those are the type of people that you need. That's why you have to get into a community. That's why you have to get with people, a mentor, coaches that will actually speak to your tomorrow instead of your today. That's why there's so much divorce. That's a whole other thing I'm not even going to go into because my mind is going just off of saying that. Because you sit there and you marry somebody that speaks to your soul, that speaks to your wounds, that speaks to where you are right now versus where you're going and where you're headed and what you're meant for and what you're purposed for and what you're called for and what you're anointed for. Because you can't take correction, because you can't take somebody telling you something different than what you think you know. That's why divorce happens. Divorce happens because people marry somebody who is so invested in them that they become a mirror, and people hate seeing themselves for real, for real. How many people, especially women, that I know that get ready every single day and don't look at themselves in the mirror? Won't even look at themselves eyeball to eyeball. Put their mascara on real quick so that they can get out of the mirror because they don't want to see what's in the mirror. Hello, somebody. Hello. Like, let's be so for real. We're going into environments, we're going into places for people to pacify us and talk to our wounds instead of talk to the greatness that's on the inside of us. That's a problem. Then we can't figure out why we're not successful. We're not making it to the top. We're not having the breakthrough. We're not getting opportunities. We're just sitting here on the background. Everything is the same. Wham, wham, wham. This year is going to be the same as last year. Oh God, don't sign me up for this year's list. Don't sign me up for the strongest soldiers list. I can't take no more. Oh, give me a break. Quit your belly aching. Most of the reason why you've been dealing with the stuff that you're dealing with is of your own creation. You still have to deal with the consequences of your decisions. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. I'm telling you exactly what you know this already. You just need somebody to tell you, well, ta-da, here I am. You need to get into environments. You need to be with people who actually care about where you're meant to be and where you're supposed to go. You need to watch your ear gates and your eye gates. The stuff that you sit there and you keep on scrolling and looking at all the time, all the time. The stuff that you're listening to, what are you listening to? Like, what in the world are you listening to? Stuff that helps you, or stuff that, I learned this from my coach a long time ago. He said you have to start reading books and start listening to things that when you first read it, you don't understand. Forget the ADHD or any type of neurodiversity that you have. You got to listen to stuff that doesn't make sense, that's bigger than where you are, but is in alignment with where you're going. Because when you read it over and over again, what happens is now there's a part of you that now opens up, and you now create capacity within yourself for the greatness that you're building yourself for. You got to get ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay ready. Read, listen. In Women's Success Circle, we have a book club and we review the books. We go, why? Because if you're not reading, you can't lead. If you're not reading, you ain't leading. You sure ain't leading yourself. It's a fact. You're going off of old information. You're going off of stale information. You need something that's hot. You need something that's fresh. You need something that's going to make you stand up, that's going to make you say, you know what, I did not know that. That's going to make you say, wow, wow. And makes you see yourself in that place. Because when you see yourself in a different place and you see yourself and you're like, wow, I feel so small. Good. You need to feel small. Stop looking for the most comfortable place. If you're the smartest person in the circle, then sweetie, you need a new circle. You're just stroking your ego at this point. You need to be in a stronger, you need to be in a circle. You need to be in a place where you feel like a small fish. Be a small fish. Be okay with being the smallest person in the room. Be okay with being the dumbest person in the room, for goodness sake. So that the people that are there can speak something into you that will cause a flash, that will cause a shift, that will cause you to grow, that will cause you to stand up, that will cause you, whoa. And you start feeling yourself. You start realizing, wait a minute, there's more to me than I even thought there was. Oh my goodness. How do you nourish your soul? You get healing. You get healing. Yes, self-deliverance is a real thing, but deliverance is an even more powerful thing. It's just like, oh, I'll just do my hair myself. Now, you going to sit here and tell me that you doing your hair is going to come out the same way as when you go to the shop and somebody else does your hair? Tell me. Tell me. You know it ain't true. Deliverance is in order. Soul healing is in order. You'll be amazed at the stuff that comes out that is interfering, that's affecting you, and now it's coming out and it's affecting your business. It's affecting the way you show up, your willingness to show up. Some of the clients that I have, they're amazing, but they have fear of success. They have fear of visibility. They have fear of money. They have like all these things that are holding them back, and they never even realize it. They think it's because, oh, I need to figure out, do I need to do a book funnel? Do I need to do a webinar funnel? Do I need to do social media funnel? Do I need to do this? And so they're trying to do all of these outside things, not even realizing that it's the inside things that need the work. And when the inside thing gets worked on, aha, now you see the outside results. Listen, this is what it takes. If you're going to flourish in 2025, flourish in 2025. That's our word for the year, flourish. You have got to heal. It's affecting you. It's showing up in more ways than one. If you're a mom, if you're a wife, or husband, if you're you're on your job, in your business, with your family members, it all comes out, and you're just bleeding all over. You're just bleeding everywhere. You're struggling unnecessarily. struggling in areas you don't need to struggle in. But because you won't do the work and face yourself, this is where you find yourself. Don't stay here too long. Heal. Get in community. Women's Success Circle. That will help you to heal. That will help you regulate your emotions. One person tell you no, you feel like it's the end of the world. You need to go and start looking for a job. If you can't take no in business, then I know you're not saying no in your own life, and you're overextended. If you can't take one no and regulate your emotions to keep going until you finally get to a yes, because guess what? Every single no is going to get you to a yes. Then I know you got a bunch of unfinished projects. I just know you do. I know you do, because that's the premise. Like, that's just how it goes, right? So you got to face these things for what they are. I have resources. So my book on soul healing, it's a great resource to help you see yourself and see what's actually happening within you. A lot of people don't think the two are correlated, but they're absolutely correlated. If you can't regulate your emotions during a conversation, if your emotional intelligence is low, then baby, I can tell you right now, it's just a matter of time before something happens in your business and it's a wrap. It's done. And you get into an argument, or you owe this person money, or this person takes you to sues you, or whatever. Emotional intelligence. I'll close with this. Studies and statistics say, Google it. Statistics say that the most emotionally intelligent people are also the most successful people, especially in whatever they set their hands to do. Corporate America, business, career, their homes, whatever. The most emotionally intelligent individuals are the most successful individuals. Why? Because they know how to regulate themselves, and therefore they know how to regulate everything else that concerns them. All right, guys. Thursday. I know it's Friday, but we come on Thursday, okay? I will have the poster on community so we can set our timers, set our alarms, and not miss each other. Again, I'm going to figure out a name. Y'all let me know. Tell me, Thirsty Thursday, Thriving Thursday, something Thursday. I'm going to figure it out, okay? But it has to be on Thursday. That is the date that I saw. It has to be on Thursdays. I'm doing this today because I missed Thursday, and I want to be committed to my yes. So there's that. So make sure you subscribe. Don't miss anything. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. And I'm going to see you next week, Thursday morning. I'll talk to you then.